Let's say you're running for public office. Unless you're running as an independent, you need to be endorsed as a political party's official candidate. It used to be that the party leadership selected who their candidates would be, but the McGovern-Fraser Commission decided that candidates should be chosen more democratically, so many states switched to primaries. The most traditional primary is a closed primary, but more and more states have been moving towards semi-closed, open, and even blanket primaries. In a closed primary, only registered members of the party can vote to decide the party's candidate. Registered Republicans vote in the Republican Party primaries, registered Democrats vote in the Democratic Party's primaries, and third-party voters vote in the third-party primaries. Independents cannot participate in the primary process in closed primary states. The closed primary serves to encourage party unity and prevent non-members from nominating weak candidates. Semi-closed primaries work to open up the democratic process to independents as well. In states with semi-closed primaries, independents can choose one primary election to participate in, but registered party members can only vote in their own party's primary. Open primaries throw out the idea of party registration and affiliation altogether, allowing every eligible voter to choose one primary election in which to participate. Even more progressive are blanket primaries. In states with blanket primaries, voters get ballots that list every candidate from every party for that particular office. All candidates run together, and the top two candidates run in the final runoff election to determine the overall winner. This system can lead to the scenario where both candidates running in the final election are from the same party, which feels undemocratic. But consider the hypothetical district here that is 1/3 far right, 1/3 right-leaning, and 1/3 Democrat. Each has a candidate running for office, running under the district's closed primary system. Each group votes for its own candidate. The moderates don't turn out as much as the far-right conservatives. The further right candidate wins the primary. In the general election, Republicans form a winning coalition and the district is represented by a far-right conservative. Consider instead if this district had a blanket primary. The district has the same political makeup, but this time, because it has a top two primary, all candidates run together in the primaries. To illustrate what would happen if two candidates from the same party won the primary, let's say that the Democrats don't turn out as much as expected. Both Republican candidates head on to the top two election. When choosing between the two Republicans, the Democrats would rather have a more moderate representative, so they choose to back the moderate. With a moderate elected from the district, this district is now more representative of its voters than if the district had a closed primary. With this system, voters can vote across party lines and pick more moderate candidates from other political parties than their own. Another benefit in using the blanket primary system is that, theoretically, because the blanket primary is an integral part of the overall election, the number of people participating in primaries would increase. In 1998, when California's experimental primary system was implemented, turnout increased about 3%. This number was different from the projected number, but still an improvement to the current system. One reason why turnout may not have increased as substantially as was expected when California switched over to a blanket system is the decrease in party affiliation of candidates. Most voters use party distinctions to evaluate candidates, and this loss could lead to a decrease in voter turnout due to the lack of a clear, consistent partisan message. You may be wondering why there is a lack of party distinctions in a blanket primary. Closed primaries are still run by political parties, which have the ability to vet distasteful candidates from running for the political party. Because political parties don't really play a role in the blanket primary system, voters look to the candidates themselves to provide their party affiliations. In this system, candidates choose their parties, and this reversal leads to a severely weakened political party. In 2002, California's blanket primary system was struck down in California Democratic Party versus Jones. But later, in 2008, the Supreme Court overturned the Circuit Court decision, allowing for the states to implement a blanket system as long as parties weren't required to endorse the candidates that listed the party as his or her party preference on the ballot. Many leading experts and researchers have found mixed results on blanket primaries' effectiveness in electing more moderate politicians. In recent years, however, trends have suggested that blanket primaries actually do have moderating effects. After implementing the top two system in 2012, turnout didn't really improve, but other factors were at play, including presidential races may be already decided by the time California votes, and Public Policy Institute of California found that many voters skipped contests where two Republicans or two Democrats faced off against each other. In conclusion, in a lot of ways, a person's position on these two primaries depends on how much they favor political parties as linkage institutions.